Welcome back. Let's have a quick chat about this little bad boy. Spent, I don't know, maybe an hour playing, and did make one mistake that ended up making a difference in gameplay results or VP accumulation results, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But I wanted to just suggest that this particular module and these smaller scenarios that are set up now on separate maps, and I think I mentioned in my prior video in regards to this topic on EFS that I could not recall whether or not there were separate smaller maps in the first module, but this is a great idea on this sort of heavier cardstock as well. It's almost like a little bit of poster board, but not quite as thick, and you've got a section of map and then a small scenario to play. Played very quickly. I was very impressed with how quick and smooth things were. A few little mishaps here and there with the air war, and how I ran things here and there when I went back and checked things. But nevertheless, it was a fairly significant victory for the German forces. The mandatory attacks that the Allies are forced to make, the Allies, well, as the Soviets are forced to make, these mandatory attacks didn't work out well for the Soviets. They rolled, on the first 4 attacks, they rolled 3, ended up being net 3 8s, and then a 1. So just a beat down, took a lot of step losses, which all of those step losses were armor. And because they were, because they all ended up being in that 3-2 range or 2-1 range, most of the results had an asterisk on them, which meant that it was going to be an extra step loss. So it was very painful for the Soviets to lose as much armor as they did on the very first turn. And then the Germans really did, as I mentioned in my game plan for this, that I was going to pivot here and try and take Polsk over here, or Polsk over here. I'm not sure how you pronounce that correctly, but and that ended up working out pretty well. It did take until the end of the third turn to do that, but we managed to secure that, and that's 7 VPs, which pretty much sewed up the game for the Axis player. Now, what I did forget to do is to bring in the reinforcement that came in here, which really would have prevented this end-around move that I made to negate the river here. I took a unit around and attacked from this side and across this hex side, or maybe it was this hex side, I forget now. Nevertheless, that negated some of the river benefits, but is what it is. So we even discounting that success there, by the time we add up all of the armored factors that were lost and the VPs for over here, it became very clear that regardless of what the Soviets were going to do on the third turn, that it was a game over situation. And I enjoyed it. Played out real quick. I would probably, I just bagged this up just like this so that I can set it up again and play again if I need to or want to. As I mentioned, I'm hoping that I'll be playing this scenario opposed. So I thought I'd just get one quick run through with it, because the player I'll be goofing around with is not familiar with the system. So I thought it'd be best that I have a quick look at it. And actually, probably be cool if I can get them to play the Germans. They want to play the Soviets, but I think it'd be good for them to play the Germans, unless they like to learn by watching, as the case might be. All right, that's a quick little update. Talk to you soon. Barbarossa, the Central Front module, new release from GMT. Well, it's not new; it's a second edition. Now we're going to move on to some Alexander the Great. All the best.